All right, welcome to Dilemmas Concepts. What we're looking at today, we're looking at directed numbers. And in this series, what we want to do is to look at negative and positive numbers, like how you add same signs or when you're adding different signs. So let us look on the first set of examples here. All right, so we want to look at adding same signs. So when the signs are the same, for example, as we're seeing here, we have -1 plus -2. All right, so we're looking at -1 plus -2. When we have the same signs and we're adding, what do we do? Well, basically, think about this scenario. A negative number could represent like a debit or borrowing something, and so in this case, it's like we borrow $1 plus we borrow $2, and at the end of the day you're thinking that you would have borrowed $3. So then -1 plus -2 will give us -3. Basically, when you have the same sign, you can see that you just ignore the signs, add the numbers, keep the sign. That's when you're adding same signs. For example, -4 plus -5. Well, I could simply ignore the signs, add the numbers, 4 plus 5, 9, and then I keep the sign. Another way of looking at it, again, you borrow $4 and you borrow $5. At the end of the day, you would have borrowed $9. So if you link the negative to borrowing and the positive to paying back, you could see something going on there. All right, so right here again, we have -6 plus -2. We borrow $6. Also, because the and is like also, that plus is like a and is like also, we borrow $2 more. At the end of the day, we would have borrowed $8. Right? So the same sign. So what's the conclusion here? The same sign, we add the numbers, keep the sign. For example, ignore the signs, add the numbers, keep the sign. All right, let us say we're looking at number 4 here. You can see number 4 here. This is ordinary things like +3 plus 7. This is what we do every day. We would have just put down 10. Why? Because this is like positive and another positive. So you could just add the numbers, keep the sign, it is still positive. So 3 plus 7, 10. All right, let us observe the cases when we are dealing with different signs, right? So you could see here we're dealing with different signs right now. We're looking at -3 and a +5, or -3 plus 5. That's a different case, but we could still link it to our day-to-day transactions. For example, think about you borrowing 3 and then you paying back 5, since it's a +5. So if you think about borrowing $3 from somebody and then you would have paid back 5, you would have had an extra $2, which is not negative, it's positive, because you would have paid back more than what you had borrowed. That's one way to look at it. Another way we could look at it is to say, okay, when we're dealing with different signs like -3, +5, we could subtract, ignore the signs, subtract, keep the sign of the numerically larger. So you're seeing where we're ignoring the signs and said, okay, we're taking the 3 from the 5, and that is a 2, and then we keep the numerical sign for the larger one. So it's keep the sign of the numerical larger number, which would have been the 5. All right, let's look at this one. -10 plus 2. Ignore the signs, subtract. We're going to get an 8. And then we're going to keep the sign of the numerically larger digit here, our value here, our number here, which is 10. So it's going to be a -8. Another way you could look at it quickly to say, hey, I borrowed $10 from my friend in the morning. I went back and I paid $2. I'm still in debt. I still owe $8. So we could look at it like that as well. Lastly, -1 plus 6. So you borrow $1 and you went back and you could pay $6. So you're going to have an extra 5 hanging, which is going to be a plus 5. All right. All right. So again, let us use strategy 1. Different signs we're adding, we subtract. So we'll say the 1 from the 6 is a 5, and keep the sign of the numerically larger digit here, which is the 6. So this is just some ways that we could look at this stuff. But remember, you can always equate your negative to owing or borrowing, and your positive to paying back. All right. So there you go. Look out for the next video.